Morning, everyone. Really appreciate all the sponsor and the planning committee do all the work. I know it does require a lot of coordination and effort to get everything work well. So I'm glad to be here to share with our project that we conducted earlier this year. So this spring, my colleagues and I at USC libraries set out to understand how our peers at the BTAA, the Big Ten Academic Alliance Libraries, in their effort to implement AI-related projects. And today, so I'm excited to share our what we have learned from our survey. We specifically asked our BTAA members about their AI adoption journey, particularly delve into their practical experience on strategic priorities and the governance framework in their IT projects. So why we want to do this survey? So if you remember in the last couple of years, the vendor, we see a slew of AI-related products or features launched by many of our vendors, the service we subscribe to. So as you can see from this spreadsheet, these are the resources USC Library subscribe to and from various vendors. As you can see from the launch availability date, many of these products are launched within the last couple of years, 2024 and 25. So we feel quite a few things we don't know. As you know, vendor rush to get this product out without a lot of or minimum notification. Also sharing about the products. Let me make sure I can go back to my slides. Oh, I go back to, is that a different?
Yeah, maybe make the a little smaller.
Different
Setup.
Browsers.
Yes.
Sessions. I don't. Oh, okay.
Yeah. There we go. Make that big.
So we feel in the library, we don't even know the product ourselves. How can we help patrons use our product or understand, even testing it? So we feel we need to develop a very structured way and coordinated way to work with various functional areas, including public service. It's not just IT can decide we turn it on or we just activate. And some of the feature or AI feature, you cannot even turn it off. So without learning these products, how can we help our patron? Or how can we know if there's any issues that we need to be aware of? So we feel we need to establish really coordinate a structured process to assess this product before we can make it available. And we also see this as an opportunity for those of us involved to learn about this product and particularly AI technology that vendor try to implement or we need to know in order to help our patrons. And then, so this, as you can see, these trends in also reported by this Clarivate report, the Pulse of Library report, just issued yesterday, right? Brent, you are. So in that report, it also indicates that more and more libraries, 67% of the library participate in the report, indicating they are either implementing or in the process of developing or implementing AI related service and products comparing to 64% last year. So more and more libraries are doing that. So we decide to form an AI task force with the support from our associate dean in technology. That we have 8 members coming from different functional areas, including public service, instruction, collection, and of course library IT. So we try to get people work together and decide how we want to assess or how we want to produce or promote these products. And we also hope this through this committee, we can also develop a more formal process and also creating more learning opportunity for the rest of our colleagues. One of the projects we decide to do is to find out what other peer library, BTAA member alliance, how do they implement AI projects, and then also learn from them. So we decided to conduct a survey and send to the IT director of each BTAA members. So the survey question was developed and reviewed by a committee member and distributed to the BTAA IT heads of the 19 libraries, and we conducted a survey from January to mid-March, and 12 libraries responded to our survey. So just a quick background about BTAA. It's a large organization that formed in 1960s with the goal to advance academic excellence among member libraries. Currently, there are 19 members. In California, UCLA and USC are 2 members from California. And it's a very large organization, so you can see different functional areas. There's so many different committees, interest groups. And our survey is sent to this IT director, that particular committee that asked them to coordinate within their library to respond to our survey. So our survey question is set up in a holistic framework that not just focus on specific IT, specific function area. We see IT impact in the library that you coming from the leading the top level to individual functional area in the middle, the second one operating, the operational area, and also including teaching and learning. That's another domain or dimension we see that's important. And then in the survey, we also asked the participant about what they see the potential or barriers in implement IT related project. So our survey is grouped this way. The first section in our survey is related to the administration part, the leading part, that we see that these AI implement IT need adoption require the support from the administration in terms of policy, resources needed, and also collaboration, direction, decision making from the top. You cannot just do that from one individual unit in the library. So there are 6 areas that we ask in the question. So the first area is about policy. We want to know if there's any formal policy or guidelines or process set up in your library, in the library. So the first question we ask Sorry, I have to look at my notes. We asked, has your library developed a formal AI-related policy guidelines? And not surprising that most of library currently, 73%, they haven't really had any formal policy set up. And we are very pleased because we don't have we are not that unique that we haven't had anything. And some library are in the process of developing. But you can see some of the quotes here that several library already have some kind of more formal policy developed. Then the second question is also related to the library-wide plan, strategic plan. So the question is, how prominently do AI-related technology features in your library key document, including your mission statement or your strategic plan, or any core document, annual reports? So 50% library mentioned that they have this kind of AI project or statement in their annual reports or any special reports. 40% indicate AI is integrated in their strategic plan. So at USC Library, we are in the process of developing our strategic plan, and our dean actually asked us to think about how AI can be integrated in our new plan in terms of to support our operation efficiency, productivity. So we will think about how we want to incorporate AI in our next few years in our strategic plan. And I also include some quotes here, but I that give you some example of library using integrate AI in their plan, strategic plan. And the next question is, okay, this is another thing I want to mention in an article actually yesterday in the Scholarly Kitchen posting that this author also point out that library are exploring AI, but currently they don't have very comprehensive policy or principle that identified or developed in the process. So I think many libraries are still in the process of trying to figure out how to integrate AI in a more formal way or develop some kind of formal process or policy or procedure. So we also want to learn more about the leadership and decision-making process in AI-related projects. So the question we ask is, who lead AI-related initiatives and who make the final decision in AI-related projects? So we find out that it's not really one group or one person make that decision. It's more follow an ad hoc approach. That decision-making distribute across different authorities depends on the project size or nature or the resources required. So as you can see, some of these are different decision makers listed here based on the response, and it's not always centralized through library IT. It can be done in some other functional area. Depends on the nature of the project. And then very important is, all these IT projects require investment, particularly, not just budget, but also personnel and also infrastructure, technology infrastructure, all require funding or allocating human resources. So we ask, do you have a dedicated budget for AI related project? Again, most of the library are using current IT projects to support this type of AI related implementation, and there's no dedicated budget line for AI, specific just for AI project. And some library, participants also indicate that they also secure funding through internal or external grants. So it's not like permanent or it's kind of one-time budget that you get grants from outside. So that's also an interesting funding, and some are actively seeking funding from outside grants because they don't really have internal funding for that. So staffing is another resource that we want to know that if they feel that they need to have a dedicated position or personnel focus on IT projects. So not surprising that there's no dedicated position for most of the, or for 40% of the library responded. But 3 library indicate they have created specific position just for IT specific area. So these are the titles that I listed here. And then 20% of respondents indicate they are planning to create such position. And then some library, they don't really want to just create a position for AI. They want to assign responsibility to existing staff that allow them to have this additional learning opportunity as well as involved in AI instead of creating new positions. So that's a different approach. And then collaboration is another thing that at the library level, we ask if the library collaborate with any internal external partners in AI related projects. So all the library responded indicate they work with campus partners. You can see different campus units from teaching to campus IT or even individual department on AI related project. And then 40% of the respondents also indicate they work with external partners, including other libraries or consulting firms, vendors, that to kind of do it, or even the grant to focus on AI projects. So it's also a way to share the resources with your partner, also reduce the risk. You don't want to just go in by yourself. You can also work with other partners and learn from each other and reduce the risk. The second dimension we ask is more at the functional area, operational area. So we have 5 areas of questions we ask for. The first one is AI application. As you know, AI is not just used in one or discovery or one area. It can be used in many different areas. So we ask, the question is how your library deploy AI technology and tools in this following area: research, discovery, user services, collection, development, metadata management, and in general, or other areas. So it's interesting to see that research and discovery is the area that has AI tools that been implemented, particularly the search discovery area. Library use, these are some of the tools they mentioned are Primo Research Assistant in some of the vendor products. And in some other library also implement research support or tools, AI tools. Some of these are listed here. Metadata is another area. 50% of the library indicate they are exploring or implementing cataloging enhancement AI tools. Particularly one is Alma Metadata Assistant. User service also is one area library can use chat, but for some AI supported chatbots. And then library also explore, because of some institution might have campus-wide subscription particularly Microsoft Copilot. If you are Microsoft shop, your campus might have a license for this AI tool that everyone can use. And some library also subscribe to ChatGPT or some other AI tools. That's for more, not library specific AI tools. And library also develop their own AI application in-house. So that's interesting to learn about that. So we also want to know how library how do you decide if the vendor just suddenly have this AI tools? Do you want to turn it on, or how do you assess and learn about it? So we asked participants, how do you evaluate vendor provided AI applications, and do you use any rubric for your evaluation? So these are different methods mentioned, and of course, testing is the most frequently mentioned one. And a few libraries already developed rubric to do more systematic way to evaluate the products, but some of the libraries are in the process of develop a rubric. And some of in the area, including accessibility and security assessment, maybe the university also require to be reviewed at the campus level itself by individual units on campus. The third dimension is also very important in terms of teaching and learning of our AI, that we ask that participants, how do they, and it include the four area of the question. If they develop, what AI literacy program do you develop, offer to your patrons? So not surprisingly to see that research guide is one area that library offer that put on their website, and then also offer workshop and training programs, and some of the examples are listed here. And then not just to work with our patrons, but also allow internal professional development program for your staff. So we also ask in an open-ended question, what IT-related professional development opportunity do you offer to your staff? So as you can see, there are various ways, interestingly, that the library set up a year of AI events. That's kind of more organized way they offer to all staff members. Town hall meeting to discuss, that's another thing. And also, of course, providing funding to attend training or workshop. So that's library are using various ways to support our learning. And then the last part is we ask the library that their vision of AI, the future potential or challenges in adopting AI technology. So the major challenge is, of course, funding. We ask what are the biggest barriers when library face implementing AI. So of course, funding, resources, and staff is skill set is on the top of the list. And ethical concern, of course, that's everyone need to be aware of how the product, if there's any bias in the product we use, we need to make sure it's ethically or responsible use of these products, and then also comply with campus-wide policy that we all have to make sure we follow campus policy. And again, in this part of the library report that issued yesterday, the survey part, it also indicated the budget, privacy, and lack of staff skill set also identified as the top barriers from that report that when implement IT project or tools. And then the future, what they see the question is, in what area of library service do you see most potential for future AI development? So these are areas mentioned. Literacy library. Library is always a hub for helping and training our students or our patrons. So of course, that's a very important area for AI literacy. And then also discovery tool or research related tools. So those are areas mentioned by the survey participants. And I also want to mention this NISO survey report that was released, I think, in August. NISO also did a survey on AI discovery service, and they also find out the 3 areas that responded indicate that the greatest potential. These are really similar to what we find in our survey. And then we ask participants to list some of the internal AI project they are working on. As you can see, it's very interesting. They're doing all these different type of AI related projects that they doing their in-house. So in conclusion, I think library are still trying to figure out how to best way to implement AI, but I feel the eCAUG is the organization that can serve can be the way to help library talk to each other for sharing our best practice, our use case through our members. I remember last year we talked about having Iluna set up some kind of AI interest group, and Ryan, you are in the STEEL committee, and you were able to facilitate, right?
Can you we were able to organize the AI stick, and it's being led by David Pate, who's at the University of Texas, Austin. Quite a few people on the survey, 300 people. Sharing information, so it's a very good group.
Does the group meet also at the Luna?
Yes, they try to organize a meeting at they met last year in Atlanta. They'll probably meet this year again at the Bonaventure.
Thanks for you the facilitate this.
Yeah, it was a good idea. It was a good idea.
So in locally, I think eCAUG also can play their role somehow facilitate the conversation and sharing as well. So I think that's my presentation. One thing I just want to mention that AI as a disruptive technology, it's here. It's you cannot avoid it. The train has already left the station. So that's what one of the library dean told me about that. So you can argue about philosophical bias or this issue, but we have to deal with that. It's vendor are already pushing very hard. So you just have to start facing it. You cannot avoid it, or you lose the opportunity if you don't focus or invest your time in learning or trying to develop a way that you implement AI technology. So one question is if the decision we made today help us decide is that if we made a decision today, will that still make sense or relevant next year? So last year we talked about AI, right, in this group, and are we still, we see so many changes this year, and so think about when you are making decision, think about 1 year from now, is this still something important? And another thing that I want to mention is a quote from another person that, if this is not actually a storm, it's a one-time thing. It's a climate already. AI is not just things that occur for this time. It's something already changed. It's our climate that we have to deal with at this point. So it depends on individual library's priority and how you want to invest your resources. So just think about it, when you discuss within your library about AI, setting up priorities. So that's what I have to share with you. Any questions or any comments? Yes.
Do we have a microphone?
We have the Alice.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. I'm Christina Hennessy from the
Yes.
California State University System. So I have lots of questions about your survey. Okay, first, and as I think about, okay, we're all in our systems and doing these kind of surveys. This AI task force was just USC, or was it was the whole Big Ten?
No, I'm sorry, I'm not clear. It's within USC because we try to have some formal group in terms of making decision, assessing.
Okay, and then the survey, you said it went to library IT or like the IT person at each campus?
IT person at each campus. We don't want to send to all the librarians in the
Right.
Big Ten, because then you get very conflicting response. So we send to the IT lead of that BTAA member. He or she can coordinate within their library to get the best answer. So we don't want to deal with different feedback.
And then you got so much information out of this survey. How big was it? It seems like there are a lot of questions.
20 questions. So I have the link here. I put. You can either go to the URL there. I have the survey results here.
That's amazing work.
Well, I think we find out a lot. We learned a lot through the process. Hi.
I have a question. I'm Ryan Edwards. I'm from West Los Angeles College, California Community College. I'm also on the Lumen Steering Committee, Rialto, and Analytics Community of Practice, and I help organize the AI state. Anyway, so my question is USC experimenting with building any chatbots? And if so, what platform?
Yes. So we have a project a couple years ago to develop a chat to work with Slack. As you know, Slack is our campus-wide messaging system, but it didn't do well because students, they don't have the habit using Slack to do kind of chatting, and we just haven't really decided what we want to do with chatbot. So far we don't have anything at this point, but it's a good question. Any other? Oh yes, sorry.
I'm wondering if you thought through evaluation for some of the internal uses of AI. So for workflows or anything like that, if any of that information could have been gleaned from that survey?
We share the survey, of course, internally, but as a large academic organization, we currently haven't really developed something that, as you mentioned, I think we think each individual functional area might be better to do that, because if I'm not in public service directly, so I don't want to kind of develop something or try to force them to use something. We try to develop a rubric, but for evaluating AI products, but we run into a lot of questions, issues like subject librarian field. How do we have a rubric that you don't have a subject background? How do we assess? Like a medical, we have a list of 35. We did an inventory of how many e-resources or tools we subscribe to now have AI feature, and there are more than 35. And many of those are coming from medical area, health science area. And health science librarian just feel, she doesn't even have the background. How do you assess the contents, particularly? So my boss said that he's trying to get the one from University of Illinois. They have developed a rubric that they are willing to share with us, but we haven't received that yet. But Rutgers University has a rubric developed, and I think you can also try to. We feel it's not easy to develop one. We might want to just use the existing one and then maybe modify to our individual local needs instead of trying to reinvent something that might already be there that we can use for now. Any other? Oh, yes.
Hey, Becca Cooling at GCC.
Yes.
Sorry if you already said it, but did you say if the percentage of universities that are using the vendor AI tools versus developing their own in-house AI tools that was on there? You mentioned that.
Yes. I think the reason we do this is because more and more vendor AI tools come from the vendor. We are pushed that way. We in USC library, we really don't have much in-house AI development or develop something. So most of these are pretty much vendor products that we try to see how library are assessing those tools come from the vendor.
Did any of the schools that you surveyed say they were developing their own in-house tools?
Yes, I think in one of the survey, here it says homegrown. That's their in-house development. And if they have the capacity, have a strong IT team or strong support and funding. And also that's the last slides or the slides that these are the project in-house development project. So as I mentioned, if you want to learn more, I put the all reports and slides in that Google Drive. You can get that there. Thank you so much.